feels so apocalyptic right now, says the fifth person to me this week. Feels right now. Why does everything feel so apocalyptic right now? I am an undesirable creature living in a city that used to feel like a safe haven for things like me. This place has changed since I first came here about half my life ago. And so have I. It didn't always feel like apocalypse. I can attest to that. I've also considered that I was merely naive, which is entirely possible, though I'm still inclined to believe that things have gotten worse. It feels apocalyptic in my kitchen when I make breakfast. When I pour a big fruit-flavored liquid, a scoop of ground-up plant protein, and whatever frozen fruits I've stockpiled in the freezer into a plastic jar where I blend them all together into an amorphous, pinkish-brown sludge and drink it down as fast as I can, just so I can meet my nutritional requirements for the morning. It feels apocalyptic on the metro when a swarm of men in black with their hands clutched to their belts infiltrate a subway car, commanding everyone to show their proof of fare, especially when the man sitting across from you asks the officer eyeing him down, "Are you gonna kill me?" It feels apocalyptic at work when a man 3 times your age tells you he wouldn't blame you if you left for your safety. It feels apocalyptic in the city, where what was once vibrant and full of life seemingly empties overnight while the city burns as it's covered in ice. It feels apocalyptic on my phone when I see another video of a plane crashing in real time, full of people. It feels apocalyptic on my street when someone chases me into the shop because I refuse to answer his question. "What the fuck are you?" So, what does apocalypse actually mean? According to the dictionary, which I've heard is the official source for human etymology, it is a very serious event resulting in great destruction and change. I look around at humans gathering in the streets, an unelected father of incels with unchecked power and outright promise to eliminate anything and everything that does not align with their vision of the world, which certainly does not include creatures like me, and a manifesto that reads like an evil, fictitious omen guide to the future of the world, all while we struggle to feed ourselves, hold ourselves, care for ourselves, and find moments of rest in the middle of the battle that follows us home, finds us outside, and is embedded itself in what is always close to us, our worlds within our screens. Plans for surveillance cities as the ones we know and love disintegrate under fear and burn to the ground. The assurance that something new is coming, that it will be better than what came before. But for who? I have no interest in aiding for the progress for only 1% of the population, especially while our 1% is painted as a scapegoat for the crimes of billionaires against all living kind on this planet as it gasps for its last breath. My prayer is that these climate disasters are not the end for us. Just a warning that as Mother Nature cries and screams begging us to stop, there is still time to change course. The optimist at the end of the world wants to believe there is always still time, even if definitely diminishing. In reality, I know that this may not be the case.
It is the determination of the Science and Security Board that the world has not made sufficient progress.
To think that you could be more important than a planet. To think you could fight a planet and win. This hubris will end those who believe this way. And knowing this gives me some comfort. For long after we run our civilization into the ground, after our whole world ends, the planet will still be here. The solar system will still be here, as will the galaxy, the universe. The planet will go on without us, and might even be better off for it. This is, strangely, the only thing that gives me a sense of calm when I think about the way humans have battered this planet since they first learned how. So, is it the apocalypse? Unfortunately, that would be far too simple an explanation. The complicated answer is that it lies on the other side of a series of choices, events, and the way we react to what is happening now. The reality is that there are a select handful of people holding your power, and you need to take it back before we cross that threshold. The more complicated answer is that the threshold is not a line in the sand or a singular defining moment in history, like we often want it to be. It's a pull from one era to the next, a slow dissolution of what was before. It can be slow, sweeping into the collective consciousness in phases, or it can be seemingly overnight. And the more complicated answer is that the threshold has been crossed. It is constantly being crossed, and it will be crossed again. There is a point in the future that holds enormity we cannot begin to be able to fathom, because it hasn't happened yet. In 2016, I found myself in an argument with an arrogant man with a sweat-stained dress shirt. He was having a good time playing devil's advocate as I vocalized my concerns with the orange man playing with body parts. He said they would never overturn Roe. Not in my lifetime, I prayed. I never wanted to be right. And here we are, 3 years later, realizing that wasn't the worst of it. They were just getting started. Those last 4 years were not the game. That was just foreplay. But this time, you're not fresh. You're not naive. You can't be stopped by censorship because the last time you picked it up as a second language. They can call it brain rot, but that's what happens when you're not allowed to use the words necessary to describe what's actually happening in your world. You're older, smarter, and maybe you even know who you are this time. Maybe that's what they fear. My name is Boy Pop, and I'm from another world. I wish I could tell you more, but this is all I can reveal at this time. What I can tell you is that you have a choice. To remain asleep, find yourself dissolved and disintegrating, if not violently erased, along with everything and everyone else. Or you can wake up, see what is happening for what it truly is. Not an act of God or an act of interstellar intervention. I wish other planetary systems cared about saving you at all, truly, but you fucked yourselves. It's not the rapture, and it's not time to quietly hide away and do the job for them. Remember the faces of the people who want you
Are you
lost.
a racist?
And remember the faces of the lives we've already
A
lost.
mother with her 2 children.
Then, look in the mirror. See yourself. Remember why you started this. Because you chose yourself, knowing the world would resent you for it. That is a strength they will never know. Remember this, and remember that the first act of resistance you must commit to is to stay alive.